This evening, let's explore an excerpt of the Heart Sutra, and then let's meditate. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is brought to you by the good-hearted folks who help support this channel on Patreon. This evening, you could chant and meditate. Take two. This evening, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as profoundly as Ahsoka Tano on Lothal, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news. If at any point during this evening's live stream, any point at all, you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply it to your life, simply type that question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. The same holds for sensation and appraisal, impulse, and consciousness. This excerpt is a reference to the remaining 5 skandhas, or 5 aggregates, which is just one of many ways the Buddha used to organize experience. And there are some people who prance about insisting that nothing exists, everything is just thought. It is as if we were merely disembodied brains in a vat of nutrient-filled liquid in a jar somewhere. But that is not what the Buddha taught. There are bodies, there are sensations. Some are pleasurable and some are painful and some are neither. There are appraisals, which simply observe the intensity or the volume of a sensation. If a feeling is like a channel on YouTube, then appraisal is like the volume of that you have that channel on your computer. He said while tripping over his words. There are impulses and there is an awareness of all the above. All these things can be noticed. All these things can be released, not through clever thinking, not through belief, but through the simple mechanisms latent within the spinal cord of every healthy vertebrate life form on this planet. The key to mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. For each inhalation is wired to effortlessly access our sympathetic nervous system, which has evolved not to actively concentrate, but instead to notice, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. The key to meditation is to simply, silently and mentally recite the 3-syllable verb relaxing during each exhalation. For each exhalation is wired by natural selection to effortlessly access the parasympathetic nervous system with each in such a way as to cause us to physically relax and mentally release. The theme of the Heart Sutra is if you perceive it, you can release it. If your mind can pick it up, your mind can put it down. We all do this. We just don't do it skillfully. We all of us who have a relatively healthy central nervous system have the wetware to become fully enlightened Buddhas in less than a year, without forsaking a job or partner or children or pets. So when the text reads, the same holds for sensation, appraisal, impulse, and consciousness. There is nothing we can conceive that we cannot perceive as well as release. Now, of course, my pals at MIT or JPL might say, well, we can conceive of theoretical phenomena that we have yet to measure with instruments, to which I'd say, if you can conceive it, when you breathe in, you can release it as you breathe out. The key to the greatest scientific breakthroughs is both the analytical and the creative. Genius, creativity is intellect at play, Einstein reminds us. We can go through life rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, competitive, and cruel. And armed with these attributes, we may be able to accomplish some things. This path may take us many places, but it will not take us to peace. If we want peace in this lifetime, in this year, then I recommend you cultivate the attributes of being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind. This is the path of peace. This is the path of the highest love, spontaneous and uncontrived. I tap button 9 and hopefully take us to the latest iteration of our practice text, or sadhana if you're fancy. Its title is Easy Meditations Proto-Zen. And it's a reference not to Zen or Chan, but to the great luminaries who practiced and taught and wrote before those things were ever an itch in their daddy's pants. Let's begin by exercising the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm. Please chant with me. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. Let us not commit the error of spiritual snobbery, pretending that wisdom trumps the ability to eat, to have shelter, to have clothing, to have medical care, to have education, to have meaningful employment. Therefore, let us exercise the empathetic wish for the universal transcendence of obstacles together. May all beings' obstacles to wisdom, love, health, and good fortune now be pacified completely. May all beings' obstacles to wisdom, love, health, and good fortune now be pacified completely. May all beings' obstacles to wisdom, love, health, and good fortune now be pacified completely. Come, let us chant together the Heart of Wisdom Sutra. It is said that Quan Chi and Pusa had knocked her of enlightened compassion, while moving in the deep peace of perfect understanding, shed light on the five aggregates and found them equally empty. After this realization, she made peace with all pain. Now, I need to take a moment here. Please bear with me. So, quick like a bunny, I'm going to type. Together. Listen, Shani Pundra, form is emptiness, emptiness is form. Form does not differ from emptiness, emptiness does not differ from form. The same is true with feeling, appraisal, impulse, and awareness. Listen, Shariputra, all phenomena are marked with emptiness. They are neither produced nor destroyed, neither corrupted nor purified, neither increasing nor decreasing. Therefore in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no appraisal, no impulse and no awareness that once perceived cannot be released. No sensation, no flavor, no scent, no sound, no sight, no phenomena that once perceived cannot be released. No body, no tongue, no nose, no ears, no eyes, no mind that once perceived cannot be released. No feeling, no tasting, no smelling, no hearing, no seeing, no noticing that once perceived cannot be released. So this is important. We cannot believe our way to nirvana. Why not? Because belief is a contrivance of intellect and emotion. And like all contrivances, it works best when everything's hunky-dory, but if there is enough distraction or fatigue, they fall apart like a house of cards in a strong breeze. The Buddha's path relies not on belief, not on intellectual gymnastics, but simply on using the most fundamental aspect of our central nervous system, our autonomic nervous system, to simply notice in harmony with, to allow ourselves to notice as we breathe in, as we have evolved to do, to allow ourselves to physically relax and therefore mentally release as we exhale, as we have evolved to do, is the key to becoming a Buddha in a remarkably short period of time. Evolution is a sloppy, slapdash contractor hired for the lowest fee. Evolution does not select for peace or love or sustainability. It only selects for reproduction, because the only traits that are passed on are the traits that either aid or do not interfere with reproduction. And anybody can reproduce, no matter how glazed-eyed, slack-jaw these knuckle-draggers may be. They can reproduce and pass on the cornucopia of their genetic traits. So anybody with a reasonably stable central nervous system can practice this, regardless of the circumstance. Because as long as your heart is beating and your lungs are breathing, you're capable, each of us are capable of noticing to some degree and releasing to some degree. Perfectionism is not a requirement, I assure you. My body is super disabled. I have a constellation of disabilities, including the grotesqueries of ADHD and autism and involuntary motor tics, body tremors, gait loss, grip loss, and the like. I'm more spazzy than a barrel of monkeys after a fifth of vodka. So, and yet, I've been able to practice the Buddha's path. If I can do it, so can you. Let's continue. No interdependent origins or no extinction of them, from confusion to aging and death at once perceived cannot be released. No stress, no exacerbation, no liberation, no path. No understanding, no attainment that once perceived cannot be released. Because there is no attainment that once perceived cannot be released. The Bodhisattva archetype self-enlightenment supported by the perfection of understanding, find no obstacles for them as that once perceived cannot be released. Last night, I dreamt that I was an angry asshole, and I threw a little hissy fit and broke some fragile things. I woke up from that dream feeling a whole host of turbulent emotions. I got up as quiet as I could, patted down the hall, set my tuchas on the couch, and meditated. And even emotional turbulence, if it can be noticed, it can be released. If not completely, if not perfectly, then at least somewhat. For that is how we are wired. Congratulating someone for mastering the Buddha's path is kind of like congratulating an adult for not soiling themselves. It's pretty much what we're wired to do when we just get out of our own way. Let's continue. Having no obstacles that once perceived cannot be released. They transcend the tyranny of fear, liberating themselves forever from the tyranny of illusion and realizing perfect nirvana. And of course, being a nerd, I can't say the word nirvana without hearing the opening chords of Smells Like Teen Spirit. All Buddhas of the past, present, and future, thanks to this perfect understanding, arrive at full right and universal enlightenment. Therefore one should know that perfect understanding is like a great mantra, is like an unequal mantra. The destroyer of all suffering, the incorruptible truth. A mantra prajnaparamita's perfect understanding could therefore be proclaimed. This is the mantra gate gate para samgate buddhi swaha. And now let's meditate. This practice of mindfulness and meditation is known by many names, such as Zen, Chan, Dhyana, Mahamudra, Ati Yoga, Dzogchen, and Treksho, or slice through. Despite the grandiosity of its names, the technique is as simple as it was a few moments ago when I explained it. Oh, look at this. Kevin Hayes. Hey, Kevin, it took me a second. To you, I send a psychic hug. Okay, now let's meditate. But in response to Kevin's playfulness, a Lama is just a dope who has had the very good fortune to receive the teachings and the very good fortune to have the opportunity to apply them. And Even a broken clock is right twice a day. Any dolt can become a Lama if they just receive the right teachings and apply them the right way, and are dripping with stinking luck. My former wife used to lament that I was either too stupid or too arrogant to know that I wasn't worthy to go up to important teachers and ask them questions relentlessly until I had clarity. Like a yapping dog trying to hump the ankles of a great Dane. I just made a pest of myself. Thank you, Kevin. I stole it myself. It's funny, I have two students who have the same last name, Hayes. So, Kevin, when I looked at your name on the comment area, I was a little confused for a moment until I was able to get my neurons to start firing properly. Nice, well said. Would you like $1 million worth of free advice on the path to enlightenment? Or perhaps I should say the path of enlightenment. Being flexible, loving, laid back, egalitarian, cooperative, and kind will always trump the polar opposites of being rigid, fearful, controlling, elitist, competitive, and cruel. By the way, stay to the end, because after we do practice the wishing love, we're going to recite the wind horse. Now, wind horse might sound like a euphemism for a thing you do after you eat too many burritos, but it's really not. Welcome aboard. If at any point during the remainder of this live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. We practice mindfulness by silently and mentally reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. We practice meditation by silently and mentally reciting the 3-syllable verb relaxing during each exhalation. We choose not to waste time with active concentration, and instead content ourselves merely with noticing, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. We'll practice Wind Horse after a bit of the old wishing love. May everyone be free from stress, may everyone be happy. Take it from the top. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy. May no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging, freed. O Queen of Space, Savior of all beings, perfectly pure essence of wind that pervades all. You give birth to all worlds and cause them to flourish. Noble Lady Tara, I pay homage to you. Lady whose face gleams as white as the autumn moon by pacifying all adversity and affliction, and spontaneously bringing favorable conditions and fulfilling wishes. Generate the wind horse of dissolving the 8 dangers into space. Lady who shines as brightly as the golden sun by eliminating all decadence and poverty, and increasing lifespan, merit, wealth, and renown. Generate the wind horse of expanding prosperity and fortune. Lady who blazes with the luster of red rubies, but dispelling all dependency and misfortune, and bringing the whole apparent world under my control. Generate the wind horse of magnetizing the triple world. Lady who sparkles with blue sapphire brilliance, by repelling all enemies, obstacles, and harm, and granting total victory over all danger and adversity. Generate the wind horse of overpowering demonic hordes. Lady who beams with emerald green light by pacifying all unwanted circumstances, and accomplishing all aims with auspicious glory. Generate the wind horse of acting on a space-like scale. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhava Hetunte Shantata Gato Hyavadat Te Shansayo Niroda Evam Vadi Mahashramana Swaha. Oops, wrong button. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 11 hours, I intend to return to lead tomorrow's early morning meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way. Good evening, my friend.